Hi, Pete's fans. Welcome to another episode of For Pete's Sake, your weekly podcast on everything Peterborough Pete's. I'm your co-host, Josh Reeser. As always, with me in the chair next to me, my co-host, twin brother, encyclopedia of OHL knowledge, Matt Reeser. First things off the bat, we are filming on December 9th. It is a Monday and it is icy out there. We hope you guys stay safe. Make sure you drive slow and be cautious out there. Give yourself some extra time. And if you don't need to be going out, stay at home until things have a chance to thaw, because it is nasty out there. And we want to keep the ice inside the ice rink and not on the roads. Anyways, we will dive into another episode, and for the first time this year, the Petes have 2 wins in 1 week. You know what that means? It's a double round of Ric Flair. You want to start us off, Matt?
Woo!
Two of them.
Woo!
Woo! I'm talking woo! Ric Flair times 2. I love it. Let's get a triple Ric Flair some week later on in the year. Absolutely. Another big week where we are seeing signs of progression. We knew this was coming.
Yeah.
We talked about this earlier. The Petes were playing too well to not win, and not win several during a week. So we'll have 3 games for you. Recap. They played against the Sarnia Sting, the Brantford Bulldogs, and the Guelph Storm. We'll have the details and analysis of all those. We'll highlight who had strong weeks. Again, with 2 wins, there were lots of them to choose from. We'll take you around the OHL, see how the picture's shaping up, some more World Junior news for you, and some unfortunate, impressive streaks coming out of London, unfortunately. Spoiler alert. But we'll give props where props are due. And then we will highlight the week ahead. 2 games this week. Some Eastern rivals are about to get a taste of the, I was going to say new and improved Petes, but they're not really new and improved. I think they just got some confidence and some mojo going now. Yep. So some Petes that were there all along. But let's start it off with actually some props, some player news. Each year there is a top prospects game for players that will be available in the upcoming draft. This year, it's Eastern versus Western is the format. And Carson Cameron and Aiden Young, 2 Peterborough Petes, have been selected to the Eastern Conference team. Caden Taylor probably was looked at earlier in the year. He hit a bit of a rough patch. So I think probably wasn't included for that reason. But hopefully he can build off. He had a pretty good week this week. Hopefully he can build off that, get his confidence back, start scoring some goals, putting up some stats, and playing with a bit more confidence, and work his way back into that conversation. But absolutely well-deserved. Carson Cameron's been a great defenseman from day one since he's been here. Aiden Young came over from the trade last year at the deadline, and he has been awesome to watch. He is a magician with the puck, makes great passes. I think he's the best I've seen in a couple of years at entering the zone, whether it's on the power play or just off the rush. He has great hands, great vision. So props to both those guys. I hope they put on a show in the prospects game. The Saginaw Spirits, for the record, did, I believe, lead the way with 4 players going into that game. They obviously have Michael Misa as one of the top dogs, who's probably going to be a very high draft pick. So good on you, Carson Cameron, Aiden Young, and we will look forward to watching that game that takes place in January, I believe. Yeah, in January. So good on you guys. Keep up the good work. Well, we will dive into some games. The first one is the Peterborough Petes versus Sarnia Sting. Took place on Thursday. It was Teddy Bear Toss Day, and there was actually a late start due to the weather. Sarnia was coming in. Their bus was delayed due to some travel restrictions, so the game didn't start till about 7:35. Both goalies, Easton Rye for the Peterborough Petes, and I'm going to probably butcher this name, Surzika the goalie for the Sting. Both played very well, both making big saves. The Petes had some really good offensive chances. Easton Rye was also tested, and he stood tall. I really like his game, and he's kept it going. It was 1-0 Sarnia. They managed to break through, and they carried a 1-0 lead all the way into that third period. We were waiting a long time for the teddy bear toss. Some of us probably concerned as to whether it was going to happen at all. And Blake Gowan would be the man, scoring his first career OHL goal. What a way to do it on Teddy Bear Toss night. A nice little move he's not really known as an offensive defender, but he broke in, got a nice pass, and then did a forehand to the backhand to kind of finish it off. So very nice goal from Blake Gowan. Aiden Young, the guy we just mentioned, moments later, scored on the power play. That gave the Petes the 2-1 lead. Sarnia would pull their goalie, and refreshingly, I feel like this has been happening to the Petes forever. They pull their goalie, it doesn't work. The other team scores. But Sarnia actually would pull their goalie and score. Pete's again sitting on their palms are sweaty, probably white knuckling, sitting on their hands saying, oh no, what just happened? Overtime, Caden Taylor scores off a beautiful pass from Braden McCullum to send the Petes home victorious. Couple things I liked in this game: resilience, not giving up on themselves, down 1-0, despite the fact that I thought they were playing a pretty solid game. Easton Rye continues to impress me. And then I love seeing Aiden Young and Caden Taylor, two of the young core. Aiden Young continuing to do what he does, and hopefully Caden Taylor, this gives him a bit of confidence. He's been struggling lately, like we said. Hasn't really put up the goal totals we thought he might at the beginning of the year yet. But there's time to turn it around, so hopefully that can get him going. And he gets a big goal, and the Petes get a massive win to start off their 3 games with a victory. Fans love it. I love it. Peterborough Petes 3, Sarnia 2. And that takes them to the next night, where they were taking on the Brantford Bulldogs down in Brantford. How did that one go?
Yeah, and before we jump into this one too, you can't say enough about the fourth line of the Petes in this one. Levesque and Parrish, and I believe it was Faulkner for a bit, and Partridge was even with them for a bit.
Buzzing.
And they controlled the offensive zone. They were hemming the other team in, and they were really generating that momentum from the bottom 6 that you need in a game like this. And they could have easily scored a bunch of goals.
Yeah.
And I thought that was their best game as a line.
I agree.
Really, they made the defense on Sarnia nervous. They were turning it over. They were doing a lot of good things. So I didn't want to miss the fact that line had a very, very strong showing in that game.
Lots of speed, lots of hustle. Yeah, I agree. I loved it.
Yeah. So they go down to Brantford. These teams don't like each other. It's very obvious still. Brantford would pull out with a 4-3 win in this game. But again, Mason Johnson starts again, makes 16 saves in the first period alone. You can't ask for more than that. 16 saves in one period. And the Petes actually got out to a 1-0 lead on a Jonathan Malee goal. But the second period, the Bulldogs would score 3 goals. The Petes would get a beauty by Jonathan Malee. He actually dangled around the defense and tucked it around the goalie.
One of the goals of the year.
Yeah.
Unbelievable finish from the captain.
Yeah, so they go into the third, they're down 3-2. But I think the turning point for them was McGowan was on the boards. Brantford scored. He got hit from behind after the goal. McCallum comes in on Calvin Crombie and just decides they're going to throw, and he took over the fight. I think it was 4 punches and he was down, and he dominated the entire fight. And it kind of just was like, we're here, we're not scared of you guys. We're going to keep playing with you. And then in the third, Caden Taylor scored for the second straight game, which I think is huge for his confidence.
Yeah.
And you got a 3-3 game. But then Brantford would score less than 2 minutes later, which stuck as the winner. But the Petes did hold Brantford to 0-for-4 on the power play. And they have a lot of skill with O'Brien and Thomas and Vanacker and Harmara, and they have a lot of weapons, and to be able to kill all 4 power plays and only lose by 1 on the road, where you kind of find your footing in the first period and you just keep at it, have your one of your assistants turned the game with a big fight and sticking up for the young guys. It's a game you can build off, and they did build off it 2 nights later. So
For sure.
I was encouraged by this one again. Nice to see the resilience, like we mentioned, and nice to see that our 2 goalies that are filling in for Bowen are just up to the task and don't look scared.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we'll move to the second win of the week,
Yeah.
which was a Sunday matinee game. The Petes beat Guelph 5-3 in this one.
Mm-hmm.
If you had asked me to look at the score sheet, I would not have guessed the goal scorers in this one's for the Petes, but that's what you love. You love when your guys step up.
Yep.
And this one was Matichuk and Partridge. They each found the back of the net twice. And Parrish had 2 points. Levesque had some points. Their fourth line was buzzing again on home ice. And especially when you have 3 games in a week, they're going to get a few more shifts because the guys don't have as much legs. And they earn their ice time. You can't say enough about those guys. And the resilience again of this team. They score a goal to tie it at 1. Guelph scores 7 seconds later. And the Petes are like, okay, we'll outscore you 4-1 the rest of the game. And just stay with you and take our chances. And I like the fact that two games earlier, the other team scores when they pull the goalie. And in this one, Malie's like, that's not happening. I'm the captain. I'm going to make sure we seal this with an empty netter. And so they pull their goalie, and right away they steal the puck. Malie shoots it down the ice and puts it in the net. And you have the win. So you see that where the other team came back 2 games ago. In this game, the Petes are like, we're going to learn from that. We're not going to send this to overtime. Let's just finish them here. And they did that. So great job by the team this week. 2 big wins and another one where they were right in it again. So 4 points out of 6 on a busy week with some teams you want to beat. So Sarnia is not a top team, Guelph isn't, and you took care of business.
Yep.
So a lot to like. I don't know what you thought of
Love it.
those games.
Absolutely. No, I love the points you brought up, the depth coming through. You mentioned that Levesque, Faulkner, Parrish. They're awesome. Like they were just, especially against the Sarnia and that Teddy Bertolus game, like they were noticeably giving the other team headache. You need to have a fourth line that at the very least is wearing the other team down. They're not being hemmed in our own end. If they contribute, it's a bonus. But just wearing those other guys down, keeping the play in the offensive end, and they did that. And with any luck, they would have, they could have had 1 or even 2 goals in that game. They were that good buzzing around. The penalty kills starting to play really well. You mentioned it against Brampton. You need that. You need to win the special teams battles. So against a very, very good Bulldogs team, 0-for-4, they killed off some crucial ones against the Sting as well. And, they're starting to find a good balance in terms of being physical, being that team that isn't going to back down, like you mentioned, against Brantford, but also staying out of the box and not taking dumb penalties. It's a fine line. I think earlier in the year they struggled with that a little bit because their identity wants to be worked hard to play against. We're not going to be pushed around, which is great, but you can't hurt your team. And I think they were earlier on, and it's nice to see them picking their moments and just being like, we're going to beat you on the scoreboard, but we're also going to stick up for each other. And McCallum coming in to the aid of Gowan in that Brantford game is just, a huge sign of that. And I know they play with a lot of pride. Guys like him, guys like Page, guys like Malie, McIntyre, Strohack. Like you can go down the lineup. They're just built as it seems like a very cohesive, we're in this together unit. And that's great to see. I knew it was going to lead to some wins sooner rather than later. Nice to see it happening. And I think, they've got a recipe now where they can hopefully keep that going.
4 or 5.
Yeah, exactly. Generating scoring chances, it looks like, won't be an issue. They do actually get a decent amount of shots the last couple of games. They don't have the same finishers, and this isn't a knock on the team right now. They're just still young, figuring it out. The year we won the OHL, there were guys like, Ottman and Tucker
Avon,
Robertson and Avon who,
Stillman.
Beck. Like, you give those guys 2 chances, they're going to bury it. Whereas we're getting, the same, maybe even some more chances now. We just don't have the same firepower, and it's because we're rebuilding and we're developing, and that's perfectly okay. We stick with it. We outwork the other team, and those things work out in the end. So I'm not worried about that. It's just the way it is. We don't have like a superstar finisher. Maybe we have some brewing, some of those young guys, but that's the way it is. So we just keep working hard. I like what I see there. And the veterans they've been doing a good job leading by example this year, starting to turn into some big point games. Malie, we saw Page had a
Bryant.
huge game, with Bryant in that win against Niagara last week.
Marichuk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Marichuk is stepping up. We're seeing, good games from McIntyre as well. So nice to have those guys leading the way because, they're going to pass on their leadership and hard work to this next crop of rooks and second year players, and that's hopefully the guys that will be on the team when we're ready to contend. So even though they may not be around for that, they can absolutely provide that spark and that framework, and it looks like they are. So Good on those guys. Absolutely. Well, our 3 stars of the week. Do you want to take us through those 3 stars? Like we said, there were tons of people we could select. It's a nice problem to have when you're like, who do we pick? Because so many guys had outstanding performances. We cheated again and did 4. But we want to shout out some distinct milestones and players that we thought had really strong weeks this week to lead to their success. So who do you got for our 3 stars?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to start calling this goalies and 3 stars of the week.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the goalies could be in there every week,
and
we didn't this week because there was guys that just had weeks. But Johnson Rye could have easily been in the top 3 stars this week.
Yeah, I just before. Sorry, you reminded me when we're in my overall thoughts. I should have brought that up. I just want to reiterate exactly what Matt said. I was a bit nervous when the news came that Bowen went down.
Yeah.
And Rye has been, in my mind right now, he's the most improved player in my head.
Yeah.
Last year, he had a couple games where his stats weren't great. I wasn't sure what he was, and I think it's just he hasn't had a lot of chance to play. He's been around the team for a while, but they've always had kind of 2 goalies in front of him, and now he's getting his chance, and he's just running with it. And then Mason Johnson, young kid, and it's hard to come into the league and play well. It's a step up from
on the road every
junior
game too.
Yeah, exactly. And he's done nothing but show us that he can be a goalie in this league. So those 2 guys going forward, likely going to have to rely on them more. It'll be interesting to see how they navigate when Bowen comes back because he was playing well as well. So having depth in goal, never a bad thing. But like Matt said, props to both those guys.
Yeah.
And both Peterborough kids.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, so this week, first star, we're going to go with Blake Gowan. Gets his first OHL goal. Huge goal for the Petes to cue that comeback against Sarnia. Mm-hmm. And before that, he was playing his best game.
Yeah.
We both looked at each other and said, Gowan's playing well in defensive end. He's moving the puck well. He's not afraid to jump in when he needs to. He stays back, covers his men well. Mm-hmm. He's more physical lately. You can see that kind of... He's turning the corner. Mm-hmm. He's never been bad, but he's starting to get more and more confident.
Yeah.
And I fear for other teams when he gets that confidence because you can see the potential is just right there.
Yeah.
You could see him being a pillar with Cameron
for sure
to build around.
For sure.
Second star, we're going with the captain here. 3 goals this week, 2 against Brantford, big empty netter against Guelph to seal the deal. Kind of stirs the engine with this team in terms of work ethic and beating icings out and being on the ice against the other team's top line. So big week for Malie, and we just thought he was deserving of the 2nd star.
For sure.
And then our 3rd star is the 2 goal getters against Guelph, Matichuk and Partridge. You can't say enough about them this week, getting 2 goals each. Partridge plays his tail off every game. Mm-hmm. Doesn't always get rewarded, but it's always nice to see him especially get rewarded when he gets a goal because he does all the little things that mean so much to a team. So when he gets a big moment like that, you want to celebrate it. Mm-hmm. And the team knows it. They were so excited for him to score. And Matichuk's been all around the net all year. Yeah. He finally gets those 2 to go in for him. Gets his first of the year this year.
Yeah.
Nice to see. Love having him on our team.
He's been really solid. Yeah, I saw the game against Niagara. Sorry to cut in here. He had 2 assists and he was just buzzing.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's been so noticeable. He just, I knew, I didn't know a 2-goal game was going to come, but I knew the results were going to come soon. And I'm so glad they did, because he's been a huge part of the defense.
Yeah. But you like we said, there's so many guys this week. You could have thrown Levesque in there. You could have thrown Parrish in there. You could have thrown Page in there. Like Taylor, 2 goals. That's what you want to have. You want to have a problem when you're picking the stars, because there's so many highlights of the week.
Yeah.
And good on the boys for sticking with it and getting 2 big wins this week.
Absolutely.
And especially going into a week where you only have 2 games the next 2 weeks. You can kind of be more rested, and you can really put your pedal to the metal and go into the Christmas break with some momentum.
Absolutely. I love it. Let's turn the corner.
Yeah. So around our OHL, there was some big moments this week. London's streak actually ended at 19 games.
Love that.
Oshawa was the one that ended up getting them, scoring 5 straight after London went up 3-0. But Cowan did break the record for points in consecutive regular season games with 56. So congrats to him. That's a tough thing to do, especially in the Western Conference, and being that sustainable. Like, good on him. I don't like London, but some of the players and what they've achieved is incredible. So that's all I'm going to say.
He actually, did you see, left that game though,
Yeah.
after taking a massive hit coming through the zone against Oshawa. So it'll actually keep him out of, just for precaution, he's going to go to the camp, the World Junior Camp, and be there as a participant, he's going to be there, but not as a participant. They want him around the team, but they're going to keep him off of the ice and the activities, just for precautionary reasons.
Yeah, that's a big blow for their team and Canada. The Rangers are starting to roll again. Well, they've always been rolling, but they've started to pick it up again. They've won 6 straight, which included a big win over Windsor. Windsor got them last time, but Kitchener got the better of them this time. And then Sudbury and Barrie have both won 7 of their last 10 games, so they're starting to climb up the standings, beating some better teams. McCoy actually had an OT winner this week for Sudbury, so nice to see him doing well. And Oshawa has climbed to the top of the East Division, unfortunately, and been catapulted by their 22 goals in 4 games.
Yeah.
But they have so much offensive firepower there. Barlow, Seneca, Richie. Like, you go up and down their lineup, and their back end has Sandu and Macarelli, and they just have a lot of ways to score. So they're a scary team, but they're starting to find their potential. So we'll see how they kind of getting to the top. But like we said, the East is still 1-9 is still tight. So like we said here, there's a clear divide in the West. There's like 6 teams that are up there, and then the bottom 4 kind of drop off. And then, like we said, in the East, 9 teams in the Eastern Conference are playing 500 or above hockey, which is crazy. I think North Bay is in 9th, and they have 20-something points.
Yeah.
Just to give you an idea. So, like, and North Bay won, like, 2 games this week.
Yeah.
So
it's a dogfight.
It's a dogfight right now. And, like, I think if you're going to be a buyer at the deadline this year, you're probably going to Owen Sound and Guelph and Sarnia to get your players, because those are really the only out west. Like, it's that's who you're going to get your players from, I think, this year, because in the East you can win.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm seeing. I don't know if you're seeing the same kind of trend going on. Or...
No, absolutely. You summed it up well. Only thing I'd add, Hockey Canada must have been listening to our podcast, because a couple additions to World Junior Camp, Beckett Seneca and Zane Paraika, both were added to World Junior Camp, replacing some injured guys. Beckett Seneca had 22 points in like the last, or was it 16 points in the last 5 games? Sorry. And then Zane Paraika has over a point a game. Again, it was surprising to see those players not included. So, someone must have tipped him off that we were on to Team Canada, and those guys will be heading out to the World Junior Camp, which is just around the corner, and I can't wait. I love that hockey. I'm counting down the days till Boxing Day, when we get to watch some World Junior hockey.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, week ahead, How are we looking?
Yeah, so they own two, like we said, they have 2 games this week, a Thursday and a Friday game. Some in-division games. So nice to get some wins under your belt against these teams. Oshawa is coming in on Thursday. All 4 meetings this year have been so close. 2 have gone to over the extra distance, and the other ones were decided by an empty netter to be won by 2 goals. So like these have been battles.
Yeah.
I'd say Oshawa has maybe played a little better than us in some of those games, but the Petes have stuck right with it. They've answered when Oshawa scored. They're not scared of Oshawa, despite all the differentials in terms of like higher end players. So it'd be nice to just, break that curse this year and get a win against Oshawa, which I think is doable. They have a lot of skill, like we said. They fill the back of the net. However, they did lose 6-1 to Saginaw this week, so you can exploit them. And they're the highest penalized team in the Eastern Conference. So they're going to try and rope you into taking penalties after the whistle and try to get you off your game. So you need to stay disciplined against Oshawa, and you need to just play your game, stay in the lane that you're in, and try and counter their defensive game, because they only have a +11 differential despite the fact that their record's really good. So they've given over 100 goals against, but they've also scored more than 100.
Right.
So there's spots they're kind of getting their game rounded into shape, but they're a team that you can beat, especially the Petes, who know that team well and know what to look for, and that's playing a lot better. Like, I think this is a matchup where you come in and you've had a week to kind of practice and get ready for, and you just throw all your energy at this team and you come out with the big 2 points. That's what I'm hoping for.
And the guys, it's similar to when we played London.
Yeah.
It's a game, an opponent that the guys get amped up for.
Yeah.
Like you said, Oshawa was a good team this year.
Yeah.
They're filled with first round NHL draft picks all throughout the lineup.
Yeah.
On paper, they're a better team than the Petes.
Yeah.
But the Petes have played each and every game against them. Like you said, it's been close. And there's that desperation in the Petes hockey that you notice. So I'm expecting the same thing. And I hope we can catch them off guard, even surprise them and get another victory.
Yeah. And then they go out to Ottawa on the Friday.
Yep.
This team for me has been the hardest to figure out this year, because at times you look at their roster and you're like, they should be rebuilding. They're coming off 2 good seasons before this. And then some nights they get absolutely destroyed and you're like, oh, this team's going to start sliding down the standings. Like, they lost 10-3 to London.
Yeah.
They've dropped some games like 7-2. But then other nights they go and beat like a Windsor or a Brantford or a Kingston, or a Barrie, or Niagara. So you never really know what team you're going to get. But they have a lot of speed. They play a good team game. They don't like to get into shootouts. They like to keep games close, like I said. And they have the best power play actually in the Eastern Conference, which I think they would, but they do. But they also have the worst penalty kill. So they're going to live and die by the special teams. They're going to use their speed to try and create penalties. And the Petes usually have success against Ottawa. And I would love nothing less than to just beat this team and kind of put them back in the right place and start to climb the standings and let this team kind of slide down a bit, because I believe we have Ottawa's pick in the draft.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, two massive games, like we said, division opponents. You win, they don't win. It means that much more when you can beat the teams you're chasing. And the standings we've dug ourselves a big hole, but I will never say never, in the words of Justin Bieber. Yeah. So let's keep it going. Let's get 2 big wins against opponents, and let's head into this Christmas season feeling good about ourselves. And that's all we got for the show today. Like we said, we hope you guys stay safe out there. It is getting icy. We hope you guys have some awesome Christmas plans coming up, which includes maybe some Pete's games together, watching the boys win. We are so fortunate to be able to support these boys. Let's do it over the Christmas season as well. Thank you, as always, for tuning into our show. And we'll have another episode for you before too long. You can find our show on Facebook, on YouTube, we'll post the details on our Instagram page at 4PTB Pete's Sake. And if you want to listen to the audio version, it'll be on Spotify, and we will post that link as well. So thanks again. Merry Christmas, even though it's a bit premature. I like to say Merry Christmas each and every week because it's one of the best parts of the season. And I hope you guys are all doing well this week. We hope to see you at an upcoming game. And as always, go Pete's, go!